Okay, for me, I am noticing there's so many interesting ways to enter in a trade using candle shapes and moving averages, trend line breaks, and all the stuff like that. It's just amazing. I want to just kind of look at being able to read price action and use the other elements on top of that to give me a higher probability. I'm going to take a look at the 10,000 tick chart right up here. I want to notice these candles right here. There's a little doji red candle. And then this next red candle went to the top of that previous candle, started turning red, and it fell below the previous candle. So it starts to turn red, drops below the level of the previous candle, and keeps going down to the 20 EMA. And I'm going to look at that on the 500 tick chart. Okay, so here we have the previous candle right here is like a little doji. And then the other candle opens up and goes up to the top of the previous candle and then drops below the previous candle. And you can see the one-to-one return that's just asking to be taken. You got the crossover here of the moving averages, and you have a green bar scenario ignored by a bunch of red bars. So my situation is I'm looking to get in on the close of that green candle, or sorry, the red candle right there, once it breaks that pivot and closes below, because we have a crossover situation, a breaking of the pivot, and it's ignoring these green bars. We should at least get a one-to-one on that, I'm thinking. So we have entered on that candle. We would want to enter on that candle, and at the very most, we can get a one-to-one on it, but at the very least, we would break even if we were trying to hold for a longer move down and price comes back up. Once price hits one-to-one, we take our stop and bring it down to break even. So maybe this would have broke even. Maybe I would have realized we're in a strong uptrend because, you know, we're in an uptrend over here after all. If we're in an uptrend and everything's on the far side of the moving averages and expanding, you know, you're not necessarily looking for a big drop right away. It takes a minute for it to perk up. Very rarely do you get a straight down move like that. But if you see some candles that are acting, here's another situation where the same exact thing happened. A red doji candle, then it falls below the previous candle. I bet you the same type of setup is happening over there. What we should do is go look at that just to see if we're right. When we get a doji candle and a red candle shaped right after it, I'm going to go study that. I want to look at that too on this video, because the first part we looked at right here, we clearly saw the trade worked for a one-to-one right there. I'm going to go look at this right here. You can see that little red doji candle. We had a red doji candle there, and then a big green candle, engulfing candle after that. Let's take a look at the second one and see if we also would have had a good setup or not. And that's going to be right over here in this circle. So we have to identify, yep. So we'd be watching it. When we see the little red, when we see this little red candle close and it jumps over to the next one, it goes up to the same height. And that's what we want to see over here in this area. We would see it close somewhere over here and then jump up to the same height and begin to drop down, and you want to get in when it starts closing right there. Now let's see if we have a one-to-one return on that, and how high would we have to be with our stop loss to get a one-to-one. Yeah, we would get another one-to-one return on that. It just depends on where we put the stop loss though. I mean, there's that candle right there, that sharp little candle right there is as good a place as any. If we would have went to the very high of it up here at the top, it wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. But you don't get that close to your one-to-one and let it come all the way up and stop you out. At least I don't. Some people, they stay right on it. In a strong bull run, you got to be extra cautious. You got to be. And you never know. You might get this kind of continuation down or even a real good drop. But, you know, you at least don't want to lose your risk. Okay, so we would have got in. Is there any other place we could have got in? Well, you kind of want to make sure that at the very minimum that it's turning red. So let's see where it's turning red, and let's possibly look at getting in at 21,899. So 21,899 over here, 21,899 is right about this area here. So you could probably see that these green candles right here are being ignored, and as soon as it's ignored right there, probably could have got in earlier than down there. I'm thinking like when this candle cleared here, possibly even on this candle here, right there. So because you got these green candles ignored, and those two candles together are strong, sharp move to the downside, and you would expect it to continue. Depends on how you get in. Yep, 1-to-1 return on it, possibly. So what we're noticing is candle formations, a pattern actually. When a little doji kind of represents a pause, little doji candles do represent a pause. If the next one can't get over the top of it and starts to turn red, this is a pattern where we can short if we know how to go down to the lower time charts and recognize it. Let me see if there's anything else quite like that coming up here where we can. Here's another red, almost a doji candle, and a breakdown below it. And look at that drop. Nice. I'd like to go look at that real quick too and see how we would have played that. So let's put that on all charts and let's go take a look at that too. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's take a look at that. Here it is. All right. So if we notice on the 10,000 tick chart, we see the red doji candle developing. Okay, the red, it's closed. It jumps over to the next one, barely goes up. Okay, so what's the price where that happens? 21,688, 21,688, somewhere in this area right here. This is very interesting to study. It really is. So somewhere in this area here, the next candle went up a little bit and come down. And somewhere in this area right here, it broke below that doji candle. Okay, so let's say we get short, you know, right here, or let's say we get short on that candle there, and even I like these candles here for my stop. So let's see what would happen if we put our stop. Okay, right here, we got a lot of pintails on the top of these candles right here. Even if we went up there, we would have been fine on this drop down. What a drop down, my friends. So that is a very interesting thing I'm noticing. We're not waiting for it to close on the side of the 8 EMA. We're not waiting for it to close under the 20. We're not waiting for the 20 to cross under. We're just reading candle formations, and we're looking at the lower time charts and looking at a breakdown of structure. I like that. I wonder if I can make a living just on that trade alone. But again, there's so many ways to trade. I'm looking at strategies that work similar after it closes below the 8, after it closes below the 20, and same thing applies. Once you get your close below these indicators, if you will, you go into the lower time chart and you're looking for red to take out green, red to take out green. Short here, that one would have certainly lost, but this one is a nice drop down that would have worked. Not everything's perfect. Not anything's perfect. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. These kind of formations right here, when it's you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles, and all of a sudden it starts to turn red, right? Let me take a look at this. I got to see this one too. This is amazing. Okay. Let's do all charts on this. This is going to be the last one for this video. I'm just excited. I probably could study this on my own, but I want to take a look at it with you guys here. There it is. And let's take a look at it over here. Find it on this. There it is. Is that it? Yeah, this is where I'm at right here. Okay. Let's take a look at this. We're looking at the breakdown after the green candle closes. It shoots over and clears. It sweeps the top of it. So after the green candle closes, it sweeps the top of it and breaks down. I like it when it breaks down and it consolidates with green candles and ignores it. And especially if it consolidates under the moving averages. Right there's your consolidation right at the pivot, and then the entry is right there. Let's see what that would have looked like with the stop loss in place, even if we get in late, even if we go to the high part, that would have been tough. We would have got a 1-to-1 on it because we would not have wanted to endure this pullback here. But here's another opportunity here. Green candles consolidating under the moving averages. I don't think I'd need to wait for that because I like this. You'd use a trend line in this case. Get in right there. We got another entry, even if it's late. I don't know why that's doing that. Yeah, this one's almost a 3-to-1. Getting in on the second one seems lower down. Getting in on after this consolidation here, on that, we got 3-to-1. 1, 2, 3 down. And that's amazing. So yes, I'm going to start thinking about that as a trade setup as well. And just getting fluid with price action. Just reading the markets and going, hey, I like this setup. I like the way this is developing. I like these candle formations. I like how it is in relation to the moving averages. I like how it's consolidating. I like where it's breaking down. I like the expansion and just starting to really just understand the movement of price and kind of having multiple setups, not being bound by one setup. I kind of like that with my personality. That's why it's taken me so long to really be able to, make enough money to trade solely, because I think you have to really focus on one style, master that style. And if you do, you're going to be really good at that. And that's all you need. But for my personality, I really want to be able to trade different setups and situations. And that takes a lot longer to start making a living because you're trying to master a lot of different things. So that's what one of my problems is. I'm trying to master a lot of different setups instead of one setup. So if you want to start making money a lot quicker at this, master one setup. And if you try to master a bunch of different setups, it's going to take you a lot longer like me. Peace.